Have you ever thought that a hole in the ground could hide something more valuable than treasure? Indeed, that's exactly what happened when an interested farmer looked into a smoking hole on his land and found a surprise. What might be hiding under the ground, just waiting to be found? In this interesting video, we follow the journey of a farmer who looked into the mysterious smoking hole and found more than he expected. Let's find out what happened after this interesting discovery and the adventures that followed. What could it be? A secret treasure chest? Or something even stranger? Let's get started. A man in Michigan found a mysterious rock-like object in a smoking hole on his property, which he initially thought was nothing more than a large, worthless stone. However, after consulting an expert, he discovered that the rock had no connection to Earth at all. The farmer claimed to have witnessed the rock falling from the night sky when he was a boy in the 1930s and was eager to collect it. The following morning, he and his father went out to the fields to find the space stone sticking out of a massive crater in the ground. When they lifted the stone out of the ground, it could still be felt to the touch. They agreed that the most practical application for it would be as a dupe. Despite the farmer's explanation, Mazer was still not completely convinced that a meteorite had been used as a doorstop. Despite this, he accepted the stone when the farmer presented it to him along with the property for the following 30 years. After a meteor shower in 2018, residents of Michigan were finding meteorites in their own backyards for monetary compensation and raking in a sizable profit from the endeavor. Masarak could only speculate on the value of his do-it-yourself project, but needed to get the answer first. Was this an actual meteorite or simply an ugly rock? He got in touch with a friend who had attended Central Michigan University for his geology education, and that friend put him in touch with a geology professor named Dr. Mona Sezu. Dr. Sescu had been contacted hundreds of times about what were believed to be meteorites, but on 9 out of 10 occasions, the extraterrestrial objects in question turned out to be nothing more than regular rocks. Dr. Sescu delved into the composition of the stone, finding that Mazer's dew top was 88% iron and contained 12% nickel, which is nearly always found in meteorites due to the fact that nickel is a meteorite-specific element. She suggested that the rock could fetch a ton at auction, but Mazer was determined to put the proceeds from the meteorite to good use. If he did decide to sell the stone, Mazer vowed to donate 10% of the sale to Central Michigan University, CMU, to provide funding for further geological studies. On February 5th, the team of Shepard and Mitchell set foot on the moon, collecting about 100 pounds of moon pebbles. The crew of Apollo 14 successfully returned to Earth by splashing down in the Pacific Ocean 9 days after their launch. They transmitted their findings to NASA, where experts immediately began working on them. However, unbeknownst to the crew of Apollo 14, among the hundreds of rocks, one that would have entirely confounded an alien rock that had no right to be on the moon was discovered. This information wasn't uncovered until many years later, when NASA gave the rock to Curtin University in Australia to study. In 2018, Professor Alexander Nin made an observation regarding the rock that caused many people to raise their eyebrows. The team led by Professor Nin and his colleagues came up with the notion that the story of the rock's journey began 4 billion years before the Apollo 14 crews boarded their spacecraft. At that time, space proved to be a violent place, with asteroid collisions causing the formation of land masses that we now call home. A couple of meteors that occurred before the Willis event had such a powerful impact that they hurled chunks of Earth's crust, a distance of several tens of millions of kilometers, all the way up to the surface of the moon. This may sound absurd, but during that historical period, the moon was approximately 3 times closer to Earth than it is now. This provided an explanation for why the rock that the Apollo crew collected was definitely the product of geologic processes that occurred in space. Dr. David Kring of the university's Space Research Association described the discovery as extraordinary and helped paint a better picture of early Earth and the bombardment that modified our planet. This discovery was made coincidentally a few years before the Apollo 14 crew launched astronaut Gordon Cooper, who had a role that was comparable to that of the 14. Cooper was the first person to make a finding from space that transformed the way we viewed the course of human history. Gordon Cooper, a NASA astronaut, was known for his ability to capture images from space. His camera could detect magnetic aberrations, allowing him to covertly search for Soviet nuclear bases or submarines off the coast of the United States, while also searching for secret nuclear bases. Cooper also found hundreds of anomalies close to the Caribbean, which he meticulously mapped down in his spacecraft, the Faith 7. After returning to Earth without informing NASA or the Department of Defense, Cooper decided to launch his own independent investigation. He immediately began looking into his discoveries, which seemed impossible to be mere accidents. Cooper quickly realized the connection between shipping routes and the possibility of shipwrecks, and investigated everything he could find pertaining to shipwrecks that occurred several centuries ago. In 2004, Cooper passed away, but his map was safely in the possession of his friend, Darrell Michelot, an explorer with experience seeking rocket ship debris. Michelot had been waiting for a long time to look into what Cooper had observed from space all those years ago. The Discovery Channel collaborated with Michelot to produce a television documentary in 2017 called Cooper's Treasure, detailing the research. During their journey, Michelot and his crew discovered a magnificent anchor in the ocean below, dating back to Christopher Columbus's time period. By the middle of 2017, they had investigated 5 places on Cooper's map and uncovered signs of a shipwreck in all 5. However, there are still hundreds of sites remaining to explore, and it is possible that further treasures are waiting for Michelot to uncover them. This is it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. If so, then share your thoughts in the comments, and also share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you can never miss our video.